Hello out there, and welcome to episode 201 of Convincing Idiots. This week, myself, Millennial Nick, and Gen X Brian are left, unfortunately, Xennial Deanless, but don't worry, we've got you covered. We're going to be discussing all kinds of things, including a familiar face making an appearance in the Marvel Universe once again. We are also going to be discussing a question that we had. What are some bands of ours, and perhaps of yours, that are not in your consistent musical rotation, but honestly, they should be? And for our final segment, you're going to want to stick around because we are going to be discussing our personal Mount Rushmores of non-human sidekicks. So, what am I wasting your time for? You want to hear the show. We want to give it to you. Without further ado, let's start the show.
You guys enjoy your whatever that is.
All right. Test.
Test.
What call it again?
Convincing Idiots.
Convincing Idiots.
Called it ham gravy.
I informed them that I sided with the stat man, not just anyone's opinion, the stat man Brian Fisher.
These kids today.
Jingle All the Way is in fact the best Christmas movie of all time.
I need to get Grandma a present, and my herpes is flaring up. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yo. I'm the millennial
We're
Santa.
three friends representing three different generations. That's our whole shtick. That's our thing.
Mm-hmm.
Nick got the whole poop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm standing in the sea
Caucasian.
breeze, holding a turd, just mightily. I'm just going hitting hats.
Anyway, on a lighter note,
Hello out there. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the vodcast. Welcome to the broadcast. Boys and girls, welcome to the show. This is Convincing Idiots, and I am your millennial Nick.
Gen X Brian.
And we are Xennial Deanless this evening, but we are here to tell you that this is, once again, Convincing Idiots, a podcast of typically three friends representing three different generations. This week we are two. We get together each and every week here to discuss all things nerd and pop culture. But by now, surely you must be aware of that. But if you're not, or perhaps a friend of yours who has really great taste like yourself is also not aware, please feel free to enlighten them. Tell them to go and find us on all of your favorite social media platforms. And to find a link to each and every one of them, I would tell you to go to our Linktree. So go to Google and type in Convincing Idiots, Linktree, Linktreee. You can also find that information and so much more on our very awesome, very cool website. That is convincingidiots.wordpress.com. So be sure to, like I said, find us on all the social media platforms that you use. Like, subscribe, rate, review, spread the word, tell your friends that Convincing Idiots is your favorite part of each and every week. And if you care about the people in your life, you would like them to enjoy something like Convincing Idiots every week as well. So... This is episode 201.
201.
We were saying off camera, Brian, it feels sometimes like it's been 300 episodes, but in fact, it's been more like 200, 201 to be exact. So it's good to be with you here. I got to pop in with you guys a little bit last week for our big 200th episode. Dean didn't feel like being an adult today and taking ownership of his responsibilities. So I answered the bell, and I'm here doing the podcast with you. So how have you been, my friend?
Doing well. I think Dean is at a convention of interrupting people, Nick. Not one full sentence will be able to be completed by anybody.
Nope.
For the entire duration.
Nope. Just everybody in a big room just massacring the English language, cutting each other off, the half words getting out. Insanity.
Completely random facts that have nothing to do with the actual story or subject that were sort of ties to it loosely, stuff like that. So we figure this the show is normally about a little over an hour. We can get through the same material, you and I, typically in like 18 minutes, something
Sure.
like that.
Yeah.
Thereabouts. Yeah.
Down to business.
So
We hit what needs to be hit. There you go.
yep,
Done.
that's right.
Yep.
Well, I've been discussing each week the saga and the story of the house selling and buying, and this week we have some pretty good news to report that Allie and I looks like we're getting not looks like we are under contract at a nice place in still the Northeast Ohio area, Monroe Falls.
Yay!
Yeah, right. So it's not too far from here. Nice area, just a different thing for us. And then I'm still in the process of selling my place here. So this is one of the last few episodes I'll be shooting from this office here. So I've shot virtually, not everyone, but many episodes from my home office here. This room here was my mother's old bedroom, and she grew up in this house. Matter of fact, she was born in this very room. I may have mentioned that before, but she was born in this room here many a year ago. And it's going to be a strange but exciting move for us. And Allie is here as we speak, so she's downstairs. She has to contend with all this added ridiculousness, including.
She must be her ears pressed right up against the door out in the hall. She can't. I know how anxious she is to hear this podcast each and every week, and now she's within the wall. She is in Bryan Manor, where the magic happens, and she's right there. She's at ground zero of the work of the Podlander. I bet she can't believe what a fortunate position that she's in to be in that home with you.
It was a factor to make this move to begin with. She was like, I will only consider moving in as long as you continue to shoot the podcast where I can specifically listen to it directly.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. She
shouldn't
some have to wait.
Yeah, it's like an addendum to the loan application. So it's just a thing notarized and so forth. So
Now, just out of curiosity, the people that have agreed that are buying this home from you, do they have plans of maybe roping off certain sections of that home and making some type of Convincing Idiots museum out of maybe the basement where the pilot episode was shot or anything like that? I
told you it's probably we suggested like a historical marker. So matter of fact, the room is, as you see it behind me, it was kept just like this for the showing. This was the only room that I barely touched for showings. I'm like, there's too much stuff to move here. I just kind of left it.
Well, it's a huge selling point when they walk into that room and see all the Convincing Idiots merchandise all over the walls and all the artifacts. That really ups your property value right there.
Absolutely. It was an increase of 9% or something like that, is what they told me in the sales price, just because of the local notoriety alone.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So
it is. It is a historical landmark.
I'm keeping just the seat cushion here. They wanted me to keep that. I don't know exactly why, but just they wanted to have it bronzed or
just sniff
smell
on
it or something. Something. Yeah, I don't know.
Just get a good whiff of that.
Yeah,
all the awesomeness just seeping out.
That's it. That's it. So so no longer a bachelor, Nick. It only took about 50 years, give or take. But again, who's counting? It's
right? Yeah, no big deal. Whatever. We got there. Hey, it doesn't matter. Nobody asks, right? It doesn't matter how you get there. It's the journey and what you do when you're there. Now you're here.
That's right.
You are at the promised land. You are with a wonderful woman in a very happy, committed relationship, and I'm happy for you. And I'm really happy for Allie. She really struck gold. So,
yes, she's we all should be the happiest for her. Yes. Absolutely. So
see, ladies out there, your dreams can still come true. It happens. It does happen.
That's right. Hang in there
every day.
Don't give up.
That's right.
Don't give up. Yep. Yeah. How are you, Sarah? What's new with you?
I'm good. Not a whole lot, man. I've just been doing my summer living, just been busy. It's funny. I've told people every year, with their kids and stuff, we always think that when summer gets here, we'll have less to do and we'll just get to lay back and relax. And quite the opposite always seems to happen. It's just filled up with other stuff. So, but it's been good. We've enjoyed the summer and, I've been busy with hockey and stuff like that. And got to see you and Dean and other friends at various times and hangouts and stuff like that. It's been good. Nothing crazy. I'm happy to report, though. This is a bittersweet tale. I'm happy to report that my body is still in working, functioning order. But just earlier this week, I had an incident that reminded me, it brought me to reality a little bit, and I can now relate a little to you as one of the olds. I had an old experience where I come home from work the other day, and I had gone to the grocery store, picked up some things, and I pull in and I notice that Robin and the kids are not at home yet. And so I don't know what possessed me. I just get this idea. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna pull down the skateboard and I'm gonna take a couple rips around the driveway here.
Oh boy.
And
Okay.
which I do. I'm not in practice of skating like I used to when I was one of the youths. But I do like to get the skateboard down every now and again and just, pop a couple ollies and go down the driveway, take a couple turns, maybe go down the street, stuff like that. So I'm not horribly out of practice, but, pull it out there and take, go down the driveway a couple times and turn around and, see if I can pop a couple ollies and maybe see how much height I can get. Not very much. Anyway, all is going well. Well, probably around the 7th or 8th send off down the driveway there. I'm starting to make as you know, I live on a hill. My driveway's on a hill, so I push off out of the carport and I come down the hill. And then when I get near the street, I'll either kind of ride out into the street and turn, or just make a turn there, and go let the momentum take me back up the driveway. Well, I'm coming down the driveway and I go to make my turn, and as I'm leaning into the turn, I could almost see it happening in slow motion. I knew it was about to happen. My wheel happened to cut right where I'm cutting my wheel. It hit perfectly into a decent sized crack in the pavement, and I immediately, bam, laid down flat on the side, just down to the pavement on my side. Board goes flying into the street. My hip, oddly enough, went immediately numb upon impact to the pavement.
Sure.
And just, I can tell you, it's I've bailed many times while skating, but the pavement definitely hits harder at 36 than it did at 26.
Yeah,
a lot harder than it did at 16. But yeah, I just kind of laid there for a minute. I scraped my leg pretty good. Had a couple cuts on my hand. And like I said, my side of my hip there, I can still kind of feel it, went just completely numb. And I just lied there. And I thought to myself, how I was 36 years old. And it was a very humbling moment. But like I said, it was. I'm happy to report that I'm all in working condition and everything is fine. No serious injuries were had. So yeah, other than just kind of easing my way into my new geriatric life, I'm just been hanging out, doing summer stuff, and trying to grasp at my youth, my fading very quickly youth.
Yeah, more things will happen like that, where it's like your body will remind you that you may feel
We don't
that
do
you're
that
younger.
anymore.
I just kind of take it a little more easy. Yeah, and it's interesting too. It's not funny. I'm glad you're okay. You get seriously hurt. Anybody could fallen like that. But when you share a story, like even me tonight, it's like you instantly feel like, oh my god, it's like where years ago it'd be like, oh, that's pretty cool, riding a skateboard. You don't think like. First, you start thinking you could get hurt doing that.
But
gotta
you
be
older
kinda
and wiser than
doing
me
that.
are already 10 steps ahead of me. You already know how this fucking story ends. I fucking biffed it, man. It was like, and it wasn't even like, oh god, it didn't feel like. It felt like it happened in slow motion, but it didn't even feel like a good, hard, like rugged fall. It was just kind of like I laid down solidly on my side. Like it just kind of dropped me like that fast. And there was no rolling. I just kind of like laid there, and I went and humbly collected my skateboard from the street. So
Try to get in a couple years. Yep.
I need to go back to the drawing boards here. Maybe play some more Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Get back to my roots. Get back on the PS5, and then work our way back into the physical realm.
It.
Yeah. It's a good call.
Yeah. Very good. Well, besides
Yeah.
almost seeing a hospital, have you seen anything interesting you want to talk about in idiot reviews?
Yeah, I have. So I've been. I'll start here. The main thing I've seen as far as like a movie or anything like that goes, as you know, and I've been sharing with you, my
Mhm.
youngest son Oliver is very into Kiss right now. Like it's
Mhm.
really it's slowly progressed more and more into just like liking a couple songs, seeing a Kiss tribute, wanting to grow his hair like Gene Simmons, wants to buy a Kiss record.
Nice.
And so we went to the record store this weekend, and he picked out Dynasty on vinyl.
Mhm.
And
Good choice.
he's picking up playing some of these songs on the guitar and stuff, and picking away. He could play the opening riff of "I Was Made for Loving You" on his
Very
guitar.
good.
And so because Kiss Mania has completely taken over, and Oliver is officially a member of the Kiss Army now, it is consuming him. And we watched Kiss and Scooby Doo. The rock and
Yes.
roll mystery, something like that is what it's called. It's on Max.
Mhm.
Have you seen this? I noticed you're wearing a Scooby Doo shirt, and you are a Kiss fan.
I am. I don't think I've watched because it's the actual voices of Kiss
It
in
is,
that as
yeah. It
well,
was
right? Yeah.
Gene, Paul, Tommy Thayer, and Eric Singer are voice the members of Kiss, obviously.
Hmm.
And as a Kiss fan and understanding from an adult brain, Kiss's legacy and different things, there's a lot of really cool Easter eggs, Kiss Easter eggs, and different names of different tie-ins of songs to the
Okay.
plot and things like that. And it's a full-on movie. It's like an hour and a half long. It is like watching a little movie. And it's honestly just a lot of fun. Like I feel like you have to be a Kiss fan to enjoy it, or I guess if you're a big enough Scooby-Doo fan, you would like it. Like just on
Okay.
your own, you would enjoy it. Like I said, the tie-ins to the music and songs and albums and things like that. One of the things I most enjoyed about it, their manager, is it Doc McGee, right? Was the
Doc
manager?
McGee. Yes.
Doc
Bill
McGee is
O'Coin was the original
also
Doc McGee. Yeah. Yep.
he is the voice of their manager in this. It takes place at this Kiss World. It's like a Disneyland. It's a Kiss amusement park that they own,
Okay.
and they put on this big show. And obviously, there's a mystery that needs to be solved. There's some weird stuff going on around the park. A lot better than Kiss Meets the Phantom. a lot better done. But all throughout the show, their manager, every time they need something, or the gang, oh, I really wish, whatever, this would be useful here. Their manager pops up trying to offer them a Kiss branded whatever that item may be. At one
That's
point, they
great.
need a flashlight. He pops in and goes, "Sounds like you could use a Kiss flashlight." And it goes, it's like an infomercial, like only, and it's $49.99 or whatever. They poke fun at the fact that they brand everything and sell everything. And then they were like, tries to sell them Kiss batteries to go along with the flashlight. And there's different when the cops arrest the villains in the story. Doc McGee bursts in and tries to sell them Kiss handcuffs. It's just all throughout the thing. He just keeps popping in trying to sell Kiss branded various accessories. So it was actually very, very fun. And there's these really cool like fight scenes in them where Kiss obviously have like superpowers or have these alter egos where they're something of superheroes. And as they're fighting the bad guy, they're like playing one of their songs and stuff, and it's really cool. Like a lot of the big songs are in it. But yeah, a lot of fun. Just a lot of fun to watch. So I would recommend that. If you're a Kiss fan, even an adult Kiss fan, check it out. But that's the main thing. Other than that, I've been watching the Olympics here and there.
Okay.
Robin's been really into it, and she's been following Simone Biles a lot and all that stuff. Who I think as we record this on Thursday, just won the gold for the U.S. for the overall gymnastics gold or whatever. So it's been fun. I mean, I enjoy the Olympics. Truthfully, the Summer Olympics are not as much like, I just don't enjoy events in the Summer Olympics as much as the winter. I like, obviously hockey, but the curling and the skeleton and the bobsled and stuff like that. But I mean, it is interesting. It's something to really like watch people that devote their entire lives to that kind of stuff, and it's interesting to watch. So that's about it. So have you been tracking any of the Olympics? You been watching any of that?
I haven't really watched it. I've seen a few highlights and things. Like I know the men's basketball's doing well, and like I said, the gymnastics won the gold. The American swimmer Katie, why can't I think of her last name right now?
Holmes.
No, but she
Hudson. Perry.
Probably saying the wrong name entirely here, but yeah, there's a lot of tremendous athletes. Like I said, the athleticism of these young people, it's really just amazing what they can do. So
yeah.
No, main thing I've watched, man, is there's not much with all the moving and this and that and the other, but I did start watching Cobra Kai season 6.
Your bachelorhood fade away.
Watching it fade away. That's right. Watching rabbits move in here, literally, which is fine. Which is good. It's a good thing. Yeah, Cobra Kai season 6 dropped. The first 5 episodes on Netflix. Season 6.
Holy shit!
Yeah, it knows exactly what it is. It's just fun and goofy. Still has a very 80s feel to it. Allie and I were watching a couple episodes the other night. It was, this is actual dialogue. Excuse me. It was something along the lines of, "We're all just one big happy karate family." I'm like, someone had to write that and say it. And it's like, you know what? You would never say that in reality, maybe ever.
Now, Brian, how many hours have you actually spent in a dojo? Do you know? I mean, are you a part of that community?
No.
You confidently say they don't
you're
say
right.
things like that?
It's very possible that it happens all the time. Maybe on a
Have
daily
you ever
basis.
been a part of a karate family?
No. But you know what? I'm like, that's great. It's just a great line. It just makes you laugh and smile. This doesn't take itself serious, and it's just fun. So if you like prior seasons of it, it picks right up. It's the same tone and feel to it. I think this is the last season, if I'm not mistaken. So, and I won't spoil it here, but we saw Deadpool and Wolverine last Friday. So, stay away from anything. If you haven't seen it yet, try your best. Every day that goes by, there's more and more things about who was in it and this and that. You got to try to really avoid all that as much as you can. Don't look at anything. Just go enjoy the movie. I mean, I did enjoy it a lot. Great. Anytime Hugh Jackman plays Wolverine, I don't care. I'm going to enjoy it, even if the movie itself is not the greatest, but he is so good in that role. And Ryan Reynolds, for all his goofiness, I mean, he really does fit that Deadpool role perfectly. I mean, some of the fourth wall stuff gets a little much at times, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
overall, it definitely was a fun movie. The cameos were fun and great. They definitely closed the book on the whole Fox ownership of the X-Men characters. They really kind of make fun of that and Fantastic Four and a few things, And the villain was actually very good. I won't spoil that either, but the villain was great. The actress was great. The villain was fun. So definitely go see it if you're a fan. Is it the greatest Marvel movie ever? No, it is not. It's not meant to be. But if your expectation is to see Ryan Reynolds over the top as Deadpool and you love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, you're going to like. The fight scenes are great. And there's definitely some scenes with Hugh Jackman wearing the yellow outfit and everything that the whole nostalgia factor and everything was a lot of fun too. So
nice.
Yeah, go check it out. There is one post-credit scene at the very end to hang out for. Go ahead.
Okay. I was going to say, how would you say, in your opinion, it stacked up to the other two?
You know what, of the 3 Deadpool movies, I think I like this one the best.
Is that right? Okay. That's what I've heard a lot. I mean, everybody that I've talked to that's seen it, I haven't heard a negative thing about it really yet. I haven't heard anybody say they didn't like it or that it wasn't good. And a lot of people have, said it's if not their favorite, their second favorite, maybe to the first one. So
yeah, I would agree with that. It's definitely better than the second one. Yeah, I think, but yeah, so definitely go check it. It has made a ton of money. No surprise.
Sure.
So I don't even know what it really sets up necessarily, but those characters are now very in the current universe, and they can certainly bring them back. And there's talk of appearances maybe in the Secret Wars or something else along the line here. So All that was great too. So
Nice.
that's it. That's
See,
it. Just the main
I'm
two
at a
things.
point
But
I need to rewatch them now,
mm-hmm.
like the other two, because like I think I've probably mentioned on here before, I was not a fan of the first one when I saw it. I don't know if I just didn't know what to expect from it, but
Yeah.
I remember watching it and going like, and I know that that's like the character but I'm just like, I remember watching the first one and being like, I feel like a middle school kid wrote this script and was like, let's see
Yeah.
how much stuff we can say that's, like, and it's not from a place of like, I don't like that language. It's nothing like that. It felt a little bit forced or whatever to me. And then when I was at Golden Heart Tattoo, as a matter of fact, one night, they threw that on there, and the second Deadpool, and I was like,
Yep.
I didn't really care for the first one, but whatever. So we watched
It's
the
fun.
second one, and I think maybe because I had a little bit more of an expectation of what it was going to be, I did enjoy that one a little bit more. But I really don't have a strong recollection of much. I mean, I know the premise of the movies, but I'd be willing to go back and rewatch them again so that I can watch this one and try to, see how it hits me. Sometimes you take a few years later, go back and revisit something and you see it in a different light, or you enjoy it more or something like that. So I'd kind of like to do that with those movies.
Yeah, I did rewatch the second one that I think about it before I went and saw this one. And I'm not saying it's a bad movie. It's fun. What the best part of that one is the whole credits where he gets the time stone, right? Doesn't he get that? And he goes back in time and he
Yes.
fixes some of the things along the line, including killing himself before he played Green Lantern and everything else. All that was kind of a goofy, and that kind of sets up this the storyline into this a little bit too.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's go see it for sure.
Yeah.
All right, that's it, man. There's not a whole lot else. So, all right. Well, we're going to take a break here, sir, and come back with a couple pop culture headlines. We get into our Ask an Idiot segment, all about that. If you don't want to listen to the intro or read the introduction after the break.
There you go. We got everything you need. Four, three.
All right, welcome back to Convincing Idiots, segment 2. No interruptions.
Yes.
Not one interruption, Nick.
Nope.
Yep.
See, because you're an important fella. You're important to
course.
me, and what you
Thank
say
you. Thank
holds
you.
weight and is important. And far be it from me to ever interrupt you or cut you off when you're in the middle of a thought. You're very wise.
Yeah. Thank you. If only others approached it the same way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, more 2-man episodes coming up, I feel.
That's right.
Yeah. Some reuniting out there in pop culture headlines, Nick. So,
all right, let's go.
Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter. Do you know what characters they're known for playing together?
Is Alex Winter the other guy from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure?
That's exactly right.
Yes, I do. Interesting.
Not reuniting for Bill and Ted.
Which they already did, right?
They did. There was a newer movie a couple of years ago, which actually was pretty good. That was Bill and Ted Face the Music in 2020.
Okay.
But they're in that movie. They're grown and they have grown daughters and all that who were trying to help them. So the premise of that was they're older and they still have not written the perfect song yet to save the universe or something like that, or they have to write a different one or something and they can't do it. So it is a lot of fun if you're a Bill and Ted fan. But they are reuniting for a Broadway show. Nothing at all to do with Bill and Ted. Waiting for Godot Adventure. So that's it. So it'll be Keanu Reeves' first appearance on Broadway. That's going to come out in the fall. I just thought that was pretty cool. If you're a Bill and Ted fan, or just like the actors, you can go check out these gentlemen in a Broadway show.
You said Keanu Reeves' first appearance on Broadway. Does that imply that the other gentleman, Alex Winters, he has been on Broadway?
I believe so. Let's see here.
Okay.
So I believe he has. Yes.
Interesting.
I don't know if I grabbed it in my notes clip here, but yeah. There you go.
Huh.
I would do that.
All right. Yeah, it'd be interesting. Just to see, kind of, I don't know. It's always fun, especially like somebody like Keanu Reeves, who's been around for so long and is so well known, and however you feel about him as an actor, to see somebody kind of use that craft on a different plane, like to take it and do something kind of outside of the blocks of what they've been used to doing, like a Broadway performance, would be really cool to see. I respect when people kind of make that jump, because it's a whole different world. It's a whole different thing than what they're used to, and there's no cut in learning. I mean, it's you got to have that shit memorized. I mean, people that do Broadway performances, that is no joke, man. That is beginning to end. You better know your shit and have it down. So that's interesting. Yeah.
Yes, I'm with you. Just the folks that are versatile like that, they can do that. Like a Hugh Jackman's one that we just talked about. Deadpool and Wolverine. He's a guy that can go out and do things like that. Like you say, it's a whole other level of talent.
Yeah.
Like you say, you're not cutting, you're not, redoing it. It's not a recut or anything. Right, you're just out there performing in front of all those folks, and you just have to do it. So you're right. It's an amazing skill, and to see people doing, that from different things, like you said, would be very interesting to see. So
yeah,
maybe we'll do that. So I imagine it'll be.
We'll do Broadway.
Yeah, maybe like Tuscarawas Avenue. Maybe something like that. The little playhouse you got over there in downtown Barberton or something.
Magical Theater Company. So, yeah.
Sure.
Do you know? I one of us at least has been on stage at the Magical Theater Company on more than one occasion. I have been in multiple productions at the Magical Theater Company.
Really?
Actually, yes. In my middle school days, there are drama club in middle school used to be in partnership with the Magical Theater Company, so we would actually go there after school and rehearse and get in, dress rehearsals and do all that stuff. And we'd practice for, I don't know if it was like a month or a month and a half or whatever, and then we would do like 3 or 4 nights of the performance of said play. So that was really cool. I would love to. I wish they still had that, especially like for Lane as they're into like the plays and stuff like that. I wish that they still had that, because it was really cool to go there, like to a theater, and like hang out in the theater while people are running, and run your lines and all that stuff. It was a really cool experience. But yeah, good times.
We're gonna work up like for our 300th episode. We got a little bit of time to work through it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There we go. Yep.
The 300th episode, I think, will be like a musical in downtown Barberton.
We We need to get with the owners of the Magical Theater Company and be like, hear us out before you slam the door in our face. Podcast at the Magical Theater Company, but for the 300th episode, we have to sing everything. Everything has to be, the entire podcast is in musical form. Yeah.
Yep. I'm interrupting. We'll work through a little bit. Yeah. Yep. Dick joke. Have a dick joke. We got to work on it. Yeah. We got to work on it. Yeah.
Sleeping with Nick's mom. That
See,
one's in there a lot too. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. Go to Linktree. Go to the Linktree WordPress. Got it all.
That might be the outro. Yeah, that might be a sneak preview to the outro, perhaps. I don't know, but that's pretty good.
That's right. Well, this is not an official ad read, but you know who is musically talented? Our friend Aaron Blake.
Who's that? That's
Aaron
right.
Blake. And Aaron Blake is not only talented when it comes to music, but Aaron Blake is talented when it comes to hooking you up with the finest insurance that money can buy. And the crazy thing is, it won't even cost you a lot. I'm not going to bore you with the details of his phone number or anything like that, because A, I don't have it in front of me, and B, it's 2024. You can find it. Exactly. What is it? Blake Insurance is above all else in service, and they're an Erie insurance provider. And all you have to do is go to Facebook and type in Blake Insurance, okay? Or go to their website, rpmbikeshop.com. Just go to Google, look up Blake Insurance. They're located in Barberton, Ohio. Aaron Blake and his lovely wife, Tasha, will be happy to assist you in whatever insurance needs you may have. And their local company located right in Barberton, Ohio. So please give them a call at whatever their phone number may be. And when you do, tell them the idiot sent you.
That's right. I think it's 234-571-5359, I believe.
That sounds right. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. I was just that. Yep.
Or go back to listen to
Exactly.
any other episode. Dean will tell you what it is.
You got
as
the
well.
point. The ad read was, it was, the heart of it was there. You got it.
That's right. That's right. Huge Marvel news. You probably saw this, Nick. Robert Downey Jr.
Yes.
making his return to the Marvel Universe. However, surprising everybody, going to play Doctor Doom in the next Avengers movie, Avengers Doomsday. And of course, now they was going to center around Kang the Conqueror, and then
he fucked everything up. Jonathan Majors fucked everything up.
That's right. So had alleged, not the best accusations, and they fired him, and they brought in Doctor
And multiple
Doom.
accusations. Different. I think they kind of tried to push it off as long as they could, and then eventually it just was like, you're not gonna stop being an asshole. And I've said it before, it just kills me because he was so goddamn good. He was so charismatic as that character. I thought he was one of the most intriguing characters that Marvel has ever put forth, and that's saying something because they have knocked it out of the park. At least in that first phase, they knocked it out of the park with damn near everyone. So big just whiff on his part, Jonathan Majors specifically. I mean, for pissing that away, it actually really pissed. Every time I see Kang's character, we were watching season 2 of Loki, and I'm like, every time I see him on screen, it just makes me so goddamn mad because he's so good. I just wish he didn't suck because he was so good. Yes.
So now there's all, is he going to play some type of are they just going to be like, he's going to wear a mask, and Tony Stark has nothing to do with it? Is he going to be like and they've done this in the comics where, there's been variations of Doctor Doom, like Tony Stark is Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom has been Iron Man before, I guess, in the comics. And so is it going to be some type of a multiverse version of Tony Stark or is just like, nope, it just happens to look like it's just Robert Downey Jr. is a whole different role? I don't know. So
how does
what
that
are your
work?
thoughts?
Yeah, I was going to ask you questions about this because I'm like, I don't, I mean, I'm familiar with the characters in very broad senses, but like, you're probably more familiar with different variations of these characters in comics. That was my question when they did the big unveiling, and it's like, well, how does that work? Like, are they, is he just supposed to be a guy that looks exactly like Tony Stark that is Doctor Doom? And are we not going to like mention it? Or is there something else going on? Or like you said, are you not even going to really put the face to it? It's just I don't know. I don't know what the plan is there. So there was really nothing more from that came out, right? Other than the unveiling of him as Doctor Doom.
Right.
And that little snippet you see of him on stage saying he likes playing complex characters or whatever, and all that stuff. And, everybody's freaking out, losing their mind. But I'm like, I just left me feeling very confused. I don't know how that works. I don't know what that looks like, I guess, in movie form. Like, I don't know. I'm really confused because it would be one thing if he had kind of played a version of Iron Man forever. Like if in Marvel, if let's say for an example, if in one of the new Marvel movies they cast a young superhero character, I don't know, pick one, and they chose to cast Andrew Garfield, who notably has played Spider-Man, but not in that universe, and is not, he's probably the third version of Spider-Man you think of when you think Spider-Man in your mind. It probably is your age group varying if it's Tobey Maguire or if it's Tom Holland or which one you prefer, but he's probably third out of 3 every time. Yeah. So if something like that were to happen, you would go, well, yeah, he did play Spider-Man in one iteration of it back at, whatever. But it's, you can do that. There's been other actors who have played different people in Marvel and DC and swapped
Chris
from one to
Evans
the
did it,
other.
right? Chris Evans was the original Human Torch, and he came back to be
Exactly.
Captain America. And it's like,
Yes.
and it's just different. It's not as iconic of a role and things like that.
Correct.
I don't know.
Yes. But I mean,
know.
you could argue that even not only is he synonymous with the character of Iron Man, and blatantly so, not only he's the only one who's ever played Iron Man, but also
Sure.
when you tie a character to an actor, he might be the most like synonymous with his character in the entire Marvel universe. I would argue.
I tend to agree.
So it's a tough move to
Yeah.
cast him as someone else. That's like doing a new Batman and making Michael Keaton the Joker. It's like, what is that? How are you going to do that?
Right. Yeah, Michael Keaton can play the Vulture in the Marvel universe. Like you say, it's a different universe. He's great in that role. It's different. You don't think, oh, it's Batman playing the Vulture. No, it's Michael Keaton playing in a different role, but in a different universe. You're right. So I don't know, man. I love Robert Downey Jr. as an actor for sure. I mean, would he play the role well? Sure.
Yeah.
I'm just curious how they'll do it. One thing that made that character so intriguing in the comics is it's not unlike Lex Luthor and Superman, where Reed Richards and Victor Von Doom were friends. Yeah, they've been in college, this and that, and then it's one of those type of relationships, and if he's Tony Stark, as you kind of lose that part of it. So, and this is going to play. And I think they said Victor Von Doom, if I'm not mistaken. I think Kevin Feige or somebody, one of the Russo brothers, I think announced him as Victor Von Doom or something like that. So
yeah,
that would be wild if that's the version that they do.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm interested. I mean, I'm certainly going to go see it. I mean, the Russo brothers made the last two Avengers movies that were certainly epic, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just curious.
And as we know with Marvel and the multiverse and all that, there's, like they even said, there's the fans outside the door. Are there fans beating down the doors? Yeah. Fantastic.
I was like, I had to see you. I'm listening to you every word, so she had to come up and actually see me do a
Filmed
show.
in front of a live studio audience. There you go.
Yep, that's right. Or perhaps the window just blew open and then she had to go close it. But it's one or the other.
You're too loud in there. Slam. Yeah. More like that might be more likely.
But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, just pick somebody else. I mean, for that type of, I don't know, man. We'll see.
Okay, so this is a
ahead.
perfect tie, and it all comes full circle.
Mm-hmm.
Allie, notably, has made comments on this very type of scenario.
Mm-hmm.
She said once famously, "Shame on Tom Hanks. He doesn't need the money and he doesn't need the role. Why does he get to play Geppetto? Shame on Robert Downey Jr. Like he hasn't already had enough. There are many talented and brilliant young actors chomping at the bit to land a role like Victor Von Doom. And shame, you know what? Shame on Robert Downey Jr. for accepting the money and accepting that role.
You would not turn it down if in the same position,
right?
For sure.
But he should.
Well, and I'm sure he's taking it as a challenge where he's such like you say, it's an iconic character to come back and do something different, play it differently. He's not going to play it as Robert Downey Jr., as Tony Stark, as Dr. Doom, certainly, right? So, I don't know. There's so many talented actors out there. You could just, I don't know. I guess we'll see.
They can certainly get creative with how it works. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of different avenues and things you can think that are, outside of the box that they could find a way to explain it. But it is it's a very odd choice. It almost felt a little bit like a publicity stunt, oh, it's Robert Downey Jr., the big reveal. And it's but what sense does that make? But I don't know. We'll see. They're
trying to create buzzes. I mean, at least we're smart enough to know that, well, what we've been doing here for a minute, it's not been exactly the best in the box office here. They're killing it with Deadpool and Wolverine. Now they got huge buzz already now for the Avengers movies with the Russo brothers, with Robert Downey Jr. So in that respect, they're smart. We're all going to go see it.
Yeah.
I would have seen it anyway, probably, but now I'm extra interested how they do it. What I would like to see maybe is this one's a variation, Tony Stark maybe as Doctor Doom, and then they still introduce Victor Von Doom perhaps separately. Now that I would like.
That'd be cool.
That I would like, But anyway, I guess we'll see. We'll see. 2026, I think it is.
Okay.
Right. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. All right. Well, Robert Downey Jr. certainly is an icon in the Marvel universe and an icon in the world of music. Nick, Johnny Cash. I thought this was interesting. I just saw this today. Johnny Cash is going to have they're unveiling a statue of the great Johnny Cash in the U.S. Capitol in September. It's going to be an 8-foot tall statue. You can see this online. There's like a model of it you can check out. The statue honoring country music icon Johnny Cash will be unveiled in the U.S. Capitol next month, so September.
Wow. Okay.
The statue will be the second of an Arkansas native in the Capitol. And the first one is somewhere in my notes. So it's Bates. So who is it here? It's Daisy Bates. I'm sorry. Daisy Bates, who was a civil rights leader who headed Arkansas's chapter of the NAACP and mentored the black students known as Little Rock Nine, who integrated Central High School in '57. Okay. So, yeah. Interesting.
So it is where?
It's going to be
statue?
In the U.S. Capitol. That's all it says here. So let's see here.
Like as in like
in
Emancipation?
DC? It'll Washington D.C. It's going to be at the unveiling will be in September 24th in Emancipation Hall.
Okay.
And
he's from Arkansas.
Yes. So Arkansas Governor Sarah Sanders and Cash's family are scheduled to be in attendance.
Okay. Why am I missing?
Interesting.
Why is it in D.C.? I don't. Why is it the capital and not in Arkansas? What is the tie to Johnny Cash statue in D.C.?
I don't know if
it is an interesting story. I'm like, as I'm listening, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Then I'm like, yeah, why is it there though?
It seems like an interesting, right? There's you could make an argument of several music artists to have a statue.
Sure.
If it was in the Arkansas Capitol, I'd say, okay, that would make sense to me.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like I was in Columbia, South Carolina, years ago when Lane was just but a baby, and we first went, and that's where my dad was living at the time. And right downtown, they have this statue. It's not a statue of them, but it's this structure, and it's like some type of tribute thing in the middle of the square to Hootie and the Blowfish. Okay, because they're from there.
Okay, well, that makes sense.
So yeah, totally. If I was in Washington D.C. and I saw a structure for Hootie and the Blowfish, I would certainly be a little bit confused. So,
yeah,
I'm not saying the Hootie and the Blowfish doesn't deserve their own statue from where they're from, and certainly I'm not comparing even like Hootie and the Blowfish to Johnny Cash. I love them both, but Johnny Cash certainly has a bigger, I would say, fingerprint on pop culture and music at large, probably than Hootie and the Blowfish.
Sure.
As great as Cracked Rear View was, I'm just going to say that I think probably Johnny Cash, bigger impact. Still a little confused on why DC though. Like you said, Arkansas, absolutely. If there's not already one in Arkansas, I don't know why. But yeah, it's odd placement. I'm like, was he an activist in some way politically that I'm unaware of?
It doesn't say. It just talk about the. Okay. Yeah, the funny part too, it's that picture of Johnny Cash with like the finger.
Yeah.
How cool would that be? Yeah. How cool would that be? The Folsom Prison thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Get behind that.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The kids up there buy it and everything, Yeah.
Yeah.
Families for their photo by it and everything. Yeah, I like it.
You know what I want? I want a Tupac Shakur statue by the Grand Canyon. Just cause. Fucking sense. America and like monumental musician and artist. There you go.
That's it.
Yep.
Well, speaking of monumental musicians and music in general, so Nick, you had an interesting question that you were thinking of. Why don't you pose that question,
so I'll just keep it vague until I unveil my answer. But the other day,
sir. Sure.
I, sometimes when I'm done listening to an album or something on Apple Music, it'll go through kind of like your algorithm of what kinds of things you like, and it'll just start throwing songs at you that are similar to what you just finished, stuff you might like, so on and so forth. So I come across a song of a band that I know very well, that I love very much, and I'm like, you know what? I haven't really it kind of occurred to me that I'm like, I just decided I was going to go through this particular artist's entire catalog. And as I'm listening to their albums from the very first one that debuted in like the early to mid 80s, all the way up to a band that is still to this day presently making music, they are iconic, they are original. And as I'm listening to them, and I'm so familiar with so many of their songs, I go, this is not a band that's in heavy rotation to me, and I don't know why. Like, I love them. I know I love them. And every time I listen to their music, I really appreciate it. But it's just like, I've got my bands that are older and classic to me and mean alike. Pearl Jams, my Kisses, my Ramones, my things like are always in heavy rotation. They're always, just listening to different albums and things like that. And this is a band that, I certainly is maybe not to that level for me, but a rung below or right around there that I really love. And I'm like, for whatever reason, I don't think about him as much, and I don't listen to him as much. So the idiot inquiry or the question is, who is a band that, like what I just described, that you really love and appreciate, and every time you hear the band, you know so much by them, you know a lot of their music, and you love them. And every time you listen to them, you love them, and puts in a good mood. But for some reason, you just don't think about them as much, or whatever. That they're not at the forefront of your playlists. So let's give flowers to those bands today. So would you like to start, or should I?
No,
So
you go right ahead.
my band that prompted this question was, do you have any guesses? Giving the time frame that I gave, they're presently making music to this day. Their first album came out in, I want to say, like 85, 4, somewhere around there. They are, I'll even give you some, they are a heavily, they've got a lot.
I'm going to guess right now.
Yeah.
Queensryche.
It is not Queensryche.
Okay.
It is not Queensryche, but that is a very good guess. Queensryche is in a more regular rotation for me than even this band. I will give you one last hint that's a pretty good one. Might be a dead giveaway, might not be. A lot of funk influences. Heavy funk influences.
85. Run DMC?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Okay, go ahead.
So it is, for me, the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Okay.
Again, love them. Grown up with hearing their music. I know, obviously, all the songs that everyone knows on the radio, and then a bunch more. I've had many of their albums over the years. For whatever reason, I feel like I don't make enough of a point to listen to the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and I know a lot of their stuff. So the other day I was just, Other Side has always been one of my favorite ones off of the Californication record. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to just take a couple days at work, and while I'm doing stuff and got my earbuds in, I'm just going to run through the whole catalog of the Chili Peppers. And they actually, the first album I recall hearing from them was Mother's Milk. So I think that's the earliest. They had like 2 or 3 albums out before that I'd never heard, and are very early hip hop, funk inspired and stuff like that. Very interesting. And that's the thing. One of the things that I really love about them is they're so unbelievably unique. And them. Anthony Kiedis' voice, and Flea's bass, and there are hallmarks to their sound that is, I feel like it's unable, like no one can replicate it. And there might be bands that you would go, if you like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, you would also like these types of bands as well. But at the same time, no one sounds like them. No one. Like, I wouldn't listen to a band and be like, oh man, they sound a lot like the Chili Peppers. No, I could be like, if you like this, you'd probably also like the Chili Peppers. But nobody sounds like them, and I don't know how exactly that is. But yeah, man, like I love how through the years their sound has changed so much, and to this day they're still putting out albums. They just put out a new album, I think this year even. And I don't know, they're just they're incredible. They're still doing it. Their music is unique. I've never once heard anyone really they're almost kind of universally appreciated. Like I've never heard people like call them out for like selling out or like changing their sound, but undoubtedly their sound changes like all the time. Like it's from
Mhm.
record to record. It's just kind of different sounds and yet somehow still unique and authentic to them. So I figured I would give the flowers to the Red Hot Chili Peppers because yeah, they're just one of those bands. Every time I listen to them, I'm like, God, I
Mhm.
love them. And I don't know what it is. They're just not in heavy rotation for me. But when I do listen to them, like every fucking time, it's so good. So the Chili Peppers were the band that brought that up. So do you have a band like that, Brian, that you
That's a good one.
kind of gets pushed off to the far sets of your mind, but every time you hear them, you're like, God, I do love them, and I love everything about them, and they're awesome.
Yeah, I there's an older band, and I have not went through and listened to their catalog either, and you're inspiring me to do that as well. But it's the same type of deal. Every time I hear a song, I smile. I enjoy it because it's such a unique sound and the vocals. I'm not saying they're great vocals, but it's a unique vocal. You know exactly who it is the second that he starts singing. I want to give you Motorhead. How about that, sir?
Oh yeah, that is a good one. That is a
You
very
know,
good one. Yep.
the great Lemmy. It's like
Hmm.
every song that I hear, it's like, man, there's no question that it's
Nope.
Motorhead. It's good. He had that unique, this is the way that I sing. That's it. Take it or leave it, you know.
Yep.
And it's just solid. It's just a lot of fun, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just and every time it's one of those things. It's the same type of deal. I hear one, I'm just like, man, why don't I go back and listen to the entire albums and start working through that catalog? Got to do it, man. But that's one
Yep.
of the first bands that popped in my head when you posed that question. So
Yeah, that's a great answer because yeah, that's another
yeah,
one that like, and guaranteed you're gonna find new songs that you
yes,
love that you're like, oh man, because you already like their sound, you already like the vibe that they bring to the table, but there's tracks that you've never heard before that are out
right,
there that you're like, you're just these hidden gems that you don't even know about yet, new favorites. I love that shit. That's so awesome. Because
yeah,
yeah, that's a really good pick because there again, yeah, you could put them into a genre or what I mean, I would say Motorhead heavy metal, but with strong
yeah,
punk influences, right? Like
yeah.
strong
That's fair. Yeah, they're
punk.
definitely not speed metal for sure. No,
No,
they're not thrash metal. No,
no,
yeah,
but definitely like a punk undertones to their
yes,
music. And yeah, because his voice is so unique and of its own ilk, like there's no mistaking them. You know, no one sounds like them. You'd
hmm
like if you like Motorhead, you'd also like this band, but you wouldn't be like they sound like them. You know, like only Motorhead
no,
sounds like Motorhead.
that's right. That's
Yeah.
exactly it.
Yep. No, man, that's a great answer. That's very good. Yep.
Good question, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go listen to all Motorhead shit too, because same deal. I know a lot of Motorhead stuff. Certainly haven't listened to every album, so that'll be next on my list.
There you go. It's good. And the Pepper's another one too. I agree with you too. I mean, I know a few of their hits. I know a few of the essentials, if you
Hmm.
will. But you're right. That's another good one. Is that every time I hear one, I'm like, man, just the vocals are so solid, and like you say, just a whole different groove. But yeah, you're inspiring me to listen to them as well, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Good
All
shit.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like that.
good question, man. This could be a main topic for that matter. Really, we can go
Yeah.
through and name a bunch more, I'm sure. But yeah, that's a
Yeah.
great one.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask Dean when he's on another episode what his
Yeah.
answer
Yeah.
might be.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Good stuff. All right, sir. We're going to take one more break and come back with our main segment this evening, and we'll tell you all about that.
Right after we
Yeah,
run through every Motorhead and Red Hot Chili Peppers album.
that's right. 4, 3, 2.
Well, hello and welcome back to segment number 3 of Convincing Idiots. I am Millennial Nick alongside Gen X Brian. And this evening, ladies and gentlemen, we have our final segment, which features some of our favorite sidekicks. Now, we have sidekicks that we like. Xennial Dean is one of our favorite sidekicks that we have. And it's debatable whether or not he is, in fact, human. For this list tonight specifically, we will be keeping it strictly to non-human sidekicks, right? So your Robins and your Hajis are out of the question for this. So
That's right.
we're going to keep it to non-human sidekicks. It is a bit of a niche category, but we figured we'd branch off here. There's a lot of great ones in pop culture and in certainly cartoons, TV shows, movies, etc. So we will be discussing our personal Mount Rushmores of favorite non-human sidekicks. And Brian, if you don't mind, I'd like to start because
Sure.
I want to take this one before you do because I feel like you would. Dean certainly would if he was here, and anyone, quite frankly, who already listens to this podcast and is a fan of ours would also choose this one. My favorite non-human sidekick, personally, would have to be of the electronic variety. What better sidekick for you could there be than something that gets you around town effortlessly, electronically, and bisecularly?
That is a word.
And what better option would you have other than an electric bike that is your perfect sidekick that is dying to be in your life today? And you might be thinking to yourself, where would I find my own electric bike? Well, luckily, you already listen to Convincing Idiots, and you know you got the hookup. We're going to tell you where to find it, and that would be our friends at RPM Bike Shop. They're located not far from here in Carrollton, Ohio. You can give them a call today at 330-808-7792, or you can go to their Facebook page, which is RPM Bike Shop. Just search it up on the search bar to see the fantastic electric bikes or brand new electric sidekicks for you. You can also go to their website, which is rpmbikeshop.com, and find your way to a brand new bro or she-mance that you never knew you needed in the first place. That's right. You and your brand new sidekick electric bike from RPM Bike Shop. There it is. So now that we've got it in the spirit, I've gotten one off the books already, so you can't take it anymore. Electric bikes are off the table.
Dang. Okay.
But the tone has been set. Brian, non-human sidekick, go.
One of my first ones as a kid, one of my favorite cartoons. Watched this show very religiously as a kid, and it's still out there available now on streaming. But one of my first favorite non-human sidekicks, Dino from the Flintstones. Dino, the dinosaur dog. So always kind of a love-hate type thing with Fred, jumping on him and kicking him out of the house and this and that. But still, Dino was one of the first sidekicks that I can recall. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Dino the dinosaur.
Very good dinosaur. I mean, if the worst you get out of your pet dinosaur is that he licks you, I mean,
yep,
that's a pretty good day.
Jumped on Fred when he came home, licked him, like you say. It was a welcome home from work and everything. Voiced also by the great Mel Blanc, the dinosaur. So,
well, there you go.
There you go. That's it.
Great pick. Fantastic. Dino's a good one. All right. I am going to go. I'll start with one of my childhood favorites. As you know, a child of the 90s such as myself, and I've mentioned it many times before, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers were a big part of my childhood, and I would have to say there was probably no more serviceable of a sidekick than Alpha 5. He was the robot in the command center, and he was an aid to the Power Rangers, but more so directly a sidekick to Zordon, the floating head or interdimensional being in the command center that gave the teenagers with attitudes their powers. But honestly, Zordon's just a floating head in a fucking tube. So at the end of the day, without Alpha 5 there at the control panels to press the buttons and do his bidding, he's not getting very much done. He is, after all, the one that summons the teenagers to the command centers, and all Zordon does is call out the orders, and Alpha makes it happen. Alpha functions the viewing globe. Alpha gets the kids their mission details and stuff, and what monsters attacking Angel Grove. Alpha 5 was a very serviceable and, quite frankly, sweet non-human robot sidekick. So Alpha 5 is the first one on my list.
Very good. I want to have like Xennial Dean as a head in a tube of these 300th musical episode. There's something there too.
Yeah. And maybe with like a mute button on it. You can just kind of like, when it gets to be too much, you just kind of like hit that button.
And the audience could click the mute button.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. We're working this now.
That. I like that.
Yeah, it's writing itself as we go through this one episode. Absolutely.
It might just be easier to have the Golden Dean head there and just call it a day.
Mm-hmm. I like it. Oh, yeah. There you go. Now you're talking.
Sculpture, the silent sculpture.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, well, you've mentioned it already. He's on my shirt also. One of my favorite non-human sidekicks, Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, some could argue, well, he's a main character on the show. It's called the Scooby-Doo show, which I agree with that too. But I consider him more of a partner with mainly Shaggy, of course, right? You can argue that Shaggy is a sidekick of Scooby, is it? But Scooby was sort of a sidekick of the entire gang.
Sure.
There you go. I mean, I don't know what else you want besides a dog that can solve mysteries. All I have to do is put himself in extremely dangerous situations by giving him, a couple of dog biscuits or something like that. Yeah. So, it's pretty good.
Yeah. I would say it is the Scooby-Doo show, right? Because he's the dog, and it's easy to pick him out of the litter than the other, kids on the shirt there in the Mystery Machine. But let's be real. The other ones solved the mystery. Scooby and Shaggy fucked off and ate most of the time.
And so somehow they wind up screwing up and catching the villain almost every time.
Yeah, all the legwork is done by Daphne, Velma, and Fred. And the other two are fucking off and trying to control their raging munchies, and somehow they're the heroes. But no, Scooby is a good one. It's always good times. Scooby and Shaggy have a couple good run-ins with Gene Simmons specifically in the Scooby and Kiss one. It's pretty entertaining.
I'm gonna watch that thing soon.
You would like it. You really would. Yeah. Like I said, there's enough in there for Kiss fans to like the little Easter eggs. I mean, it is very much. It was good for Ollie and I to watch together because he was just getting the cartoon Scooby and Kiss, and he's so these, mashing of the two worlds that he enjoys. And I, as a adult Kiss fan, was enjoying the little Easter eggs they were dropping throughout the show. But it was good, yeah. All right, next up on my list, I'm going to go with Abu from Aladdin. Abu was a very loyal monkey sidekick of Aladdin, always by his side for richer or for poorer. Abu was with him to the end, and when he was just a poor street rat, he was helping him steal food. And when he got into the thick of it with Princess Jasmine and the genie, he's helping him live his double life and cover for him as Prince Ali. And Abu is just a good guy, good little monkey guy, good guy to have around. And I would take Abu as my sidekick any day.
Love it. One of my favorite characters of the entire Star Wars universe. There's a couple that fit this description, certainly.
Sure.
R2-D2.
Yeah.
Right. Luke's sidekicks, of course, obviously the sidekick of another non-human, C-3PO, but I just always loved R2-D2. The whole attitude, the heroism.
Yep.
As you said, certainly if it wasn't for the characters, his determination in A New Hope, the way he was portrayed, then it all goes to shit immediately. If she would have fed the plans into him and he would have said, nope, I'm just too afraid or whatever it is, he was determined to get off that ship and fulfill the mission to get that recording over to Ben Kenobi, then that's it. Just love it. Always take charge, powerful in his own right and funny and everything else. Had a great look to him, the character. So just an awesome one of the few characters in virtually every single movie. He was in all the prequels, I believe, and everything. So,
Yes.
but yeah, great character, great sidekick. There you go.
Yeah, R2. And there again, like very strong-willed. He didn't give a fuck what C-3PO was telling him or telling him not to do or to be cautious about. He was just like, "That's what I'm doing." And he went and did his own thing.
Yep, that's right.
Almost a leading man in his own right, but sidekick certainly to the two other main characters.
It really did him a disservice in the first couple newer movies. They tried to get that, was it the one
BB-8? BB-8. Yeah,
that was a fine character. It was okay, but why?
Sure.
Why are you trying to replace R2D2? Like you say, unnecessary.
Yeah, like revamp art. That's what it was. It was kind of like, here's new R2D2. It's much like when they did the. I think what they started to do with like Darth Maul in the prequels is like, here's your new Darth Vader. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like, yes, you understand that, but in those later ones, it's like you still have R2D2. Like, it's a different thing. You don't need to replace him or make another version of that.
Exactly.
Well, there was a lot of things that happened in the Disney Star Wars that were fucking unnecessary. So that's the least of the concerns.
Like the movies themselves.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the last two ones. You could have just
the last two. Yeah, the first.
The Force Awakens could have just been the equivalent of like the Friends reunion for Star Wars, and we could have just called it a day and been like, "There you go." That was right. Fun, wasn't it? Yep.
Yes.
All right, I'll keep it Star Wars and go with another. This is just a fucking layup right here. Chewbacca. Come on, of course he's on. I would imagine, literally. I mean, I joked about RPM and the electric bike, but if Dean were here, I would imagine all three of us would have Chewbacca on the list. He's probably the most blatant answer. There again, almost kind of. His relationship with Han Solo is at face value just pilot, co-pilot, and they're friends, and they're these kind of outlaws together. And as you go through the movies, and especially like I know not a lot of people really like the Solo movie. I did, but I just thought that was a really cool look at like their relationship and how they came to know each other. And we've talked about it in past episodes. Certainly the hurt that you hear from Chewbacca when Han is eventually, spoiler alert, killed by Kylo Ren in The Force Awakens. Just it's a long-running, deep relationship and connection. And even, when Han's being, thawed from carbonite, or when he's being frozen in carbonite, and just the distress that Chewie has, it's more than just they rely on each other in a means to survive, but they truly care about each other. And he is, I mean, of all of the sidekicks that I have listed, he's probably the one I would want most, as far as like having by your side through thick and thin, and really having a deep caring in the relationship. So yeah, Chewbacca is probably like the sidekick of all sidekicks, in my opinion. So he certainly has to be on my Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, I mean, he fucking left his family, Lumpy and everybody, just said to hell with them after a life day.
Yeah.
Just that's it. I'm out of here.
Han got him back to Kashyyyk for one life day, and he's like, okay, we're good here. Yep.
That's it. Yep.
My dad's always whacking off to virtual porn, and my kid's trying to put his head back on his fucking bantha, and my wife's whipping and cooking weird shit and flip whip and all that. He's done. That's another thing that makes Chewbacca great. He knows when to walk away from a bad situation.
Yeah. That's a fine quality. No, but you're right with him. It's like even as a kid, like you said, it's like this is the type of male friend that I want. Just somebody who is loyal. They clearly cared about each other, and it was cool about that is, obviously it's a different. It's a different race. It's an alien race, a different race, and despite the different races and they're still the best of friends. And there's certainly different, things you can learn from that as well. Right? You have to look the same and come from different backgrounds and all that to be good friends and loyal to each other and everything else. So, you're right. Just it's so good, and you're exactly right. You felt the pain from Chewbacca when Han was something was going on with Han, and Han was clearly worried about Chewbacca as well. And so yeah, great character on my list as well. Good.
Yeah.
All right. I have. It's oddly another character voiced by Mel Blanc, who did all the Looney Tunes characters and everything else. He did Dino. Later on in the 70s, one of my favorite sidekicks, also a robot, Twiki, the robot from Buck Rogers in the 25th century. So
Okay.
this was a very ridiculous, goofy television series. They had 2 seasons of it. Like during the, so many shows tried to pick up on the popularity of Star Wars. You had Battlestar Galactica, then you had this one as well. But uh, if you were looking for something that's crazy 70s fun, and it's very interesting when you go back and look at some of these 70s shows where it's like, this was, prime time, quote unquote, family television. It's like, boy, some of the costumes were a little bit risque. Some
Yeah.
of the humor was a little bit risque and all that, but it's just a goofy, a guy's from the 20, from modern times. He's frozen basically in space, and then he wakes up, this 500 years later, basically. So he's a guy from the past living in the future. They go on space adventures and stuff like that. But he's a little robot, and just fun, cool, interesting. Before your time, but you can find it on streaming out there. I think it's on NBC app and
On
stuff like
Peacock.
that. So
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
watch 1 or 2 episodes, and I would defy anybody not to get hooked on the goofy ridiculousness of it, but fun.
Okay.
Yep.
I've heard of that, probably from you.
Probably.
I've heard
Yeah.
Buck Rogers, but I don't think I'm familiar with the character, so I'll have to maybe when I'm feeling some jazz cabbage one night, maybe I'll just flip it on when I'm
That'd be perfect.
Yeah. Yep.
Perfect. Yes.
All right. For my next one, I'm going to make it 2 for 2 as far as episodes mentioning this character. It also fit my last week's Mount Rushmore. And again, Kit makes another appearance from Knight Rider. I have Kit again. Kit was a fantastic sidekick. He was a car. And, in Knight Rider, Kit was definitely a sidekick. He could operate under his own doing, and he was just, what better thing to have than a car to come bail you out of a bad situation? It's a cool setup. So Kit from Knight Rider is on my Mount Rushmore as well.
Excellent. I had Chewbacca on my list. I'm going to replace Chewbacca with someone from my honorable mention. Well, you know what? Another one from my childhood, man. I had Dino the dog, and the more modern version of Dino, I guess, all the way in the future. He's like the polar opposite of Dino, Astro the dog from the Jetsons.
Oh, yeah.
How about that? So, again, just another fun character. Is not Scooby Doo ish, but again, same type of deal. Faithful dog.
Yep.
Just like to be walked on a treadmill floating out in a crazy setting, a crazy dangerous setting on a treadmill for some reason off a giant platform where you could fall to your death.
Yeah.
For no reason. You could have had it easily inside or a platform somewhere else, but no, it was always on this side of the building type of thing.
It looked a lot cooler to have it out in space.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
yep.
Astro. There
nice.
You go.
And for my final Mount Rushmore, of course, I have to play close to my heart with this one. And I don't know how much of a sidekick he necessarily qualifies as in the traditional sense, but I'm going to go with Salacious Crumb.
Of course.
Because, he is the sidekick to Jabba in some respect. He is, he's by his side literally all the time. Until fucking Princess Leia comes along in her gold bikini and it gets moved further down the tail. But whatever. Salacious Crumb is there to make Jabba feel good. He is his court jester. He's there to laugh at Jabba and make Jabba laugh. And I love Salacious Crumb. As much as it would be nice to have a Chewbacca, let's face it, I hang out with people like Dean, so I'm gonna go with the scum and villainy. If I actually had a sidekick, it would be someone like Salacious Crumb. So and you know my fondness for the character, so I had to put Salacious Crumb on Mount Rushmore as well. Any other honorable mentions, Brian?
I do have some, by the way. I'm going to mention real fast. I forgot to bring it up in Pop Culture Headlines. The gold bikini worn by Carrie Fisher in that scene just sold at auction for
Screen got thumbs up for that.
175. Yes, it sure did. Damn straight. Other
As
things
it
as
should.
well. Thank
As
you.
it should.
Thank you. $175,000 for that.
That's all?
It seems like it went for more.
Actually,
That's
I mean,
what it was.
I feel like it would have sold for more.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I do have a couple honorable mentions. You want to go back and forth and just go through a list quickly, or how do you want to do it?
However you want to do it. Whatever you want to do.
Go back and forth. More 70s goofy movies. Clint Eastwood starred in Every Which Way But Loose and a sequel, Every Which Way You Can. Clyde the Orangutan, Right Turn Clyde. Clyde with. Did you ever see those movies? That's definitely before your time.
No,
so
I don't know, honestly, and you're going to laugh at me. When I say Clint Eastwood movies,
it's okay. Go ahead.
I feel like I've seen Gran Torino for sure.
That makes sense.
And he wasn't. Was he even in that $1 Billion Baby or whatever? Like, that's
Yes.
it. Either was he in it or just direct? I know he directed it.
He directed it. No, he was in it, I think.
Was he in it? Okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
those are the two I've seen.
That makes sense.
Like, so
okay.
I don't know of. Like, I know of him as the Western movies. The hero. The that's what he's known for. But I've not seen any of them. Like, not a snippet.
No, it's okay. These are movies like these are like 100. A kind of a B movie 70s comedy. There's a certain blueprint, and these definitely fit that description. They're 1,000% 70s movies.
Yeah.
The premise is he's like a guy that fights. And people bet on him, and he fights like in behind a warehouse and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I can't remember the whole plot necessarily, but he had this orangutan, an actual animal actor trained orangutan. He wore a wristwatch, which was kind of funny. The orangutan did, and it was a whole thing. Right turn, Clyde. He would punch. So he would turn and just punch whoever was to the right of him or something like that. So, anyway, as a kid, it was great. So yeah. Clyde from those movies in the 70s. If you're my age, you might remember them. If you're older than 40, I'm sure you never. Or younger than 40. You never saw them. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
All right. I got an honorable mention here. Brian Griffin from Family Guy.
Great one.
Brian Griffin's a good one. Most notably, he's kind of commonly the sidekick to Stewie, or chaperone to Stewie, or whatever. But some of my favorite Family Guy episodes have to do with just Brian and Stewie doing their own thing. And, Brian, as the non-human member of the Griffin family, certainly gets an honorable mention in my book.
It's a great one. I've got the robot from Lost in Space, the show I liked as a kid, watching reruns of that. So with Will Robinson and the robot, Danger, Will Robinson and all that type of stuff. Robot was cool, had a cool look to it. Whoever the voice actor was great. Just had a cool visual on the screen. Always liked the robot from Lost in Space.
Nice.
I guess I did this robot. They had no name other than Robot.
I was going to say, did he?
Robot. That's called Robot. That's it.
He didn't have a name?
Nope. Just Robot. That's it.
Interesting.
Yep.
I also have, of course, everyone says no one likes him. Mm-hmm. That simply can't be true, because I know one person who does, two at least people who like him. Me and Turbo Man. Turbo Man's faithful pet tiger, Booster. Everyone says no one likes you, Booster, and Booster takes a lot of shit, but God damn it, Booster's there for Turbo Man through thick and thin. And, when, at least in the Wintertainment Parade, notably in
Mhm.
Jingle All the Way, which everyone has surely seen and loves, when the
Of course.
Turbo Man doesn't show up and Howard has to play Turbo Man, even the guy playing Booster is showing up. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's there. So Booster, the character, catches a lot of shit for not being Turbo Man, but at the end of the day, every Turbo Man needs their Booster. So Boosters gets an honorable mention.
That's right. I cannot top that one, Nick.
Nor should anyone ever try. That's as good as it gets right there.
That's right. The only thing they do with something booster is boost the sales of our friends of Golden Heart Tattoo by providing this spectacular read, Nick. Go find our friends at Golden Heart Tattoo, now in Wadsworth, Ohio, at Golden Heart. Are they changing their name, by the way? Have you heard anything? Are they changing their name?
I have not heard anymore.
Officially?
I know they tossed it around, but I mean, they're still on all the socials as Golden Heart, and
Okay.
I'm not sure. I've got an appointment with Greg coming up here in a few more weeks, so
Okay.
I'll get some more info. Last time I was in there, when I went and saw the shop, they were tossing around some fun ideas, but I don't think anything's been done yet. So for now, it is still Golden Heart.
Okay, so there you have it. So you find them on Facebook at Golden Heart Norton, Norton.
Which is also false. Not there. I mean, that is where to find them on Facebook, but physically they're not there. So all subject to change. But as of right now, as you hear this, that's how you find them. Yes.
Very good. Online, goldenhearttattoos.com, or give them a call. Is the best thing you do. 234-706-2982, and get your tattoo of your favorite non-human or human sidekick, or perhaps a floating Xennial Dean head.
Yes.
If you so choose.
That's right.
Nick, we have done it. We provided global entertainment.
That's right.
We have workshopped already. I think we're probably 97% of writing already. Our 300th episode musical.
Oh, for sure. We're dotting the I's and crossing the T's at this point. It's basically done.
Yeah, it's just getting the agreement signed and the playbills printed, Kinko's or something like that.
Yeah.
We'll figure that part out later. Mm-hmm.
Dean will need something to do since he's not allowed to talk as much on that one, so we'll have him do that.
Yep, that's right. Yep. That's right. So you want to take us out, please?
I would love to. We have had another successful episode 201 this time of Convincing Idiots, and as always, if you don't want to miss out on all the fun, or you just can't get enough of us here on this podcast each and every week, feel free to go find us on all your favorite social media accounts. We are on them, and to find links to them, we have conveniently placed them for you on our link tree. So go to Google and type in Convincing Idiots, Linktree, LINKTREE, and follow those links, like, subscribe, rate, review, follow, all that fun stuff. You can also find all that information and a link to our merch store. You can find out little tidbits about us, and there are ways to help out the show if you so choose on our website, which is convincingidiots.wordpress.com. So, for yet another episode of Convincing Idiots, I am Millennial Nick.
Gen X Brian.
Have we convinced you that we should coerce our favorite sidekick of all, Xennial Dean, to come back and join us for another episode of Convincing Idiots?
Hey, Dean with Convincing Idiots. Brian and Nick here. Like and subscribe.